Yo, what up?
Yo, what
We back.
up?
We back. It's the Clark Brothers, West and Have. We back with another breakdown.
Whoo. Yeah,
Well,
we got
yo,
some stuff
this is a
here.
funny business. This is a little early for the breakdown because cats out of the bag, horses out of the barn. What else you want to say?
Horse
The
out of the
jig
barn,
is
running
up.
up the street. The jig is up.
We're here to discuss and break down really quickly the power leaks. Fortunately, for some, people who don't like leaks, and it's a spoiler alert if you are not, into leaks and spoilers and you don't want to hear about it, then come on back in a couple of weeks.
Right.
Check it out.
Because
But
this is going to be spoilers for some people, and we're going to be going over the leaks that happened. For anybody that does not know, Power, which has happened in the past now, I'm going to I'm going to say the last, since this season 3, I'm going to say the last 5 seasons of Power going into Power Ghost. If you remember, Power had leaked when Raina died. They had leaked that
way
that
back
year.
then. Yeah.
Yep, and then I was like the final 2 episodes. Then when the whole thing about who shot Ghost, the final couple episodes that got leaked as well. You know what I mean, so we're going over the leaks here of episode 9 and 10, which are the last two episodes of Power. And I was just going to tell you, so just real quickly, I have to, a lot of people don't like leaks. I don't like them to an extent, but then again, I like them to an extent. And I'll tell you when I do like them. If this had to happen uh, during the middle of the week where we had a show coming on that week, I'd be a little bit more upset. But because it happened on the off week, where they're taking a break for Christ's sakes, like this was the All-Star break. Like you're taking a break, it's
Yeah.
bad enough that it takes you a year and some change to come back. But now when you get going, you're up to episode 8, and it's the best season so far. Now you want to take a break for 2 weeks? Not even for
Yeah.
1 week, for 2 weeks. No,
Right.
no, 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 no.
I
So
mean, the
I
whole
think that's why
network
people
thing.
leaked it.
Yeah, the whole network thing is I know they're on Stars, which is a network, but Stars also has an app. But in the future, the only way they can really avoid this is they're gonna have to start binging, like put them out all together,
Yeah, put
like
them
on a
out all at
streaming
one time, the
service.
whole season, like I did, like Queen of the South shows, like Orange is the New Black. I think Breaking Bad, I think was out all at once.
No, Breaking Bad was on a network. It was coming
Oh,
out
okay,
one by one. But when it went to Netflix, it was all there. But
right.
Breaking Bad was originally on like FX or something like that, or AMC or something like that. So
All right.
but the bottom line is because it's on the network, that's why it comes out like this. It's not like it's on a streaming service or anything like that. But they may want to think about doing that in the future. So I mean, all they do,
And avoid
they're not gonna be
leaks.
able to avoid leaks. That's just not gonna happen.
Right.
You don't see Netflix series and stuff like that get leaks because they put it all out for the most part.
Right.
So, and if nothing
So
else, worst case scenario, they'll put half the season out all at once, and then
right.
after like a couple of weeks, the rest. But anyway, so here's this is the leaks of episode 9 and 10, season
Mm-hmm.
finale of the Power Book 2 season 3.
Now,
Um,
episode 9, like what a lot of people look for. If you remember the last how where we left off, Lauren rolled down the window and said the worst words Effie's ever heard. Yeah, that's the B who tried to kill me. So they were arresting Effie for attempted murder. Um, Kane is there. He squinches and notices it's Lauren. So episode 9 is pretty much Effie, being taken in. They're planning on using her for the Rico. They have Diana Tejada, who also just got released, and of course, how the show ended. I was just saying that just real quick. Shout out to Shane Johnson because he said the same thing I said. someone with he said exactly what a lot of people were thinking. W said what I was thinking. Someone with the cachet of Sax, out of all the people that could have took him out, you let Method Man's brother take him out. It wasn't even Redman.
Right.
Underwhelming death. He had a chance to be taken out by Ghost, by Tommy. It wasn't even Tariq. You know, Theo, a guy who's not even a regular cast member, and Shane Johnson. Shout out to him. He's a funny guy. He admitted that did bother him. He admitted that bothered him. So he was like, the guy's great, Norman's great, but he said, but I mean, come on. So
yeah.
So this episode, Effie's in there, and we'll tell everyone what leaked. You know, the sort of what leaked. Yeah. Of course, you saw the episode, the teasers that had Kane come down for Effie. He's trying to get Effie to flip on Tariq. Effie basically says no, she's not flipping on Tariq. She's got her own lawyer coming, so she doesn't need him down there. He's down there trying to be a love. Oh, you know, for us, and then when you get out and we and this, and she's like, there is no us, Kane.
Right.
And she's like, you know, I got a lawyer coming. Go home.
She was kicking that all over. Did her lawyer? Who was her lawyer?
That's another thing. Very funny. Her lawyer never got exposed. Who was her lawyer?
There it is with Effie. What is?
Was it Davis? No. She kicked Davis out and said, "I got my real lawyer coming."
She said she had a lawyer coming. They never showed who her lawyer was. I'm just like, why do they just continue to do this mystique with Effie?
With Effie, yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, well, who's her lawyer? And nobody never showed him again. Just like they never showed her plug. Just like they never showed her parents. Just like they don't show nothing with her.
They don't show nothing with Effie, but yet and still, Courtney Kemp told us we was gonna find out all we need to know about Effie. I guess that's all we need to know. Said you're gonna find out her backstory. What's your backstory? Oh, your mother married the guy that used to touch you. I'm sorry, that's just not. That's not
underwhelming backstory.
Right, it's very, and that's all you said. So Diana, of course, we know Diana gets out. Sax ends up sending letters to everyone. You know, don't ask me how he knew everyone's address, but Sax sends letters to everybody. The episode is called "The Last Gift," and I guess that is because he's sending everyone a gift. And it's basically he's trying to make Tariq out to be the person that's behind everything. He sent Monet Tejada a letter basically telling them that if you want to figure out why you're having so many problems, look no further than Tariq. Tariq is the cause of everything. He also sent something to Diana Tejada and let her know said that Tariq was trying to set her up to get arrested. If you guys remember, I said that she was going to say that too. If you guys remember, Tariq's the one who sent Diana to the roof. And she said, why would you send me to the roof? It sounded like a setup. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Tariq wasn't trying to set her up. He didn't know that there was cameras on the roof or whatever. But basically, Monet is saying, no, check it out. It seems like she's having second thought in the back of her head, but for the most part, she was saying, check it out. This sounds like a setup.
They had this now in episode 9. They showed Sax's body being revealed by seeing her, right? That was early in the episode where Jenny Sullivan saw Sax.
I may have missed that part.
Early in the episode where it was like where they brought in after they brought in Effie, not to skip around the place. But I'm just we skipped over that. They did have that scene where Jenny Sullivan, when they got the news about Sax and Jenny Sullivan's watching, he's laying on the slab. This episode is kind of like Sax's episode because it's called like One Last Gift or something like that.
Right.
That's the name of it. It's kind of like Sax getting his last
pretty much
laugh.
sticking it to everybody.
Right.
From the grave,
getting the last laugh which is kind of cool, being that he was a character that's been around for so long. They kind of let him go, even though it was way past his time to get taken out, but they decided he gonna go out and screw a lot of people on his way out, and he really set forth a shit show, a shit storm
from Sachs pretty much just lying and creating narratives, and it just goes to show it fits. The one thing about that is it fits right in with today's world. You don't need no proof. All you got to do is say it.
Yeah, you gotta do is say that he's running for it, and he had all of that going on, and that Jenny Sullivan went in there and broke down. And that scene, she saw him laying on the slab, and she lost it. She finally broke down or whatever while she was in there and that kind of set her on another path once again. Even
now she's really going to bring down everybody. So it's not done in vain. Now she can find someone else to use. She can use someone else to use to try to rationalize this outrageous ambition that she has. Looks here. So now it's for Sachs. I'm going to make sure that he didn't die for no reason. Mm-hmm. And he also left her a letter, basically telling her that he loved her. I know it was just more than just the sex. I don't know whether it was for you. He actually said, you probably won't admit it, but I know it was for you too. You some feelings involved. He basically told her to let this case go. Do not allow, he said, you see where I ended up, so do not allow them to do this to you. But of course, Jenny Sullivan said she's going to do the reverse, and she's going to use this as motivation to bring down the Tejadas and bring down Tariq. Lauren Baldwin, she is continuing to work with Tariq to keep him one step ahead. Lauren Baldwin is to me is the hero of episode 9 and 10, because without her, Tariq would have been roped up already with this Rico once they followed Effie home.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been done, because they would hit that warehouse and that's it. They see all the product in the warehouse.
Yeah.
But because Tariq knew what was happening, Lauren told him about 2 or 3 things that was able to keep him a step ahead.
Yeah.
Of the feds. That's why when they got there, they were too late, and they were like, "What's going on? Who's talking to Tariq?" Well, of course, it was Lauren.
Right.
And so in this episode,
and she was able to keep it quiet from them, but by the time they found out that she was "quote unquote" compromised, it was too late.
Right.
Like they didn't, Jenny Sullivan, they didn't realize that Lauren was talking to Tariq, obviously.
Nope. So another bad move, another bad thing from the cops. Like, you guys should be smart enough to figure that out. Right. So you could tell that while she was in there the whole entire time, she kept it as little about Tariq as possible, because she didn't want to rat Tariq out. And part of her still, even with everything in front of her, she has such deep feeling for Tariq that part of us still doesn't believe that Tariq is guilty for anything.
Right. Part of us still doesn't want to believe Tariq is the monster they make him out to be, even though he is. But
she's never seen that side of him, and he's, he is, she's easily saying, if he's a monster, well, then why didn't he kill me? Because I wore a wire. It's another. Everybody else that wears a wire, they're up out of here. But I wore a wire, and he said to get me out of town. He trusted that, I wouldn't snitch on him, or I wouldn't go to the police or whatever. So, she was still telling him things, letting him know, I don't know how much I could do for you, because they still got a RICO on you or what have you. Now, while they're all trying to figure this out, Diana figures out about Monet, the fingerprints. They find the file. She goes up to Tariq to ask Tariq, "Do you try to set me up?" Tariq, "No, Diana, why would I do that?" "Okay, I believe you." Now, what is happening is, of course, with the Tejadas,
they now feel as though they have to take out all of the Castillos. That's the only way, because Evelyn she gives a visit to Monet. She's asking questions. Monet, I'll tell you, Monet has to be the nastiest character or the nastiest person. She just talks to everybody like garbage. Like whatever day she meets her timely demise, boy, it's gonna be sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she is really, cold hearted.
very cold
Monet's
person.
character is very cold blooded, cold hearted, whatever you want to call it. And I just think it's just wild how it's like this entire family got dragged into this. Not dragged there, they were already drug dealers and stuff, but I mean the
Right.
whole point of the whole family
They
ends up
want
getting
nothing.
killed.
They wanted nothing to do with the Tejadas.
Yep. So they killed Frank, and it just went downhill from there. Now the whole family suffers. The whole family dies because Monet is trying to cover her tracks.
Diana finds out that Monet is responsible for killing her father.
Lorenzo's death.
They get into it. They get into a little scuffle.
Yep. She throws
Monet
them all out the house.
Monet throws them all out because Drew is on Diana's side. It's Drew, Diana, and Kane is kind of like on Monet's side. Kane's just like, we drug dealers. Let's just forget about it and deal drugs.
Right, exactly. That's just our life. This is the life we live. And they all kind of argued at the penthouse too, because they were just like, oh, and that's when Drew hatched a plan with Diana on killing Monet. And so they want to kill Monet because Drew, once again, doesn't do anything till he's in his feelings. So he's in his feelings. And let's keep it 100. He more hurt that he had to kill Gordo than his father being killed. Yep. He's more upset because she manipulated him to kill Gordy or whatever than the fact that she actually had Gordy kill his father. So if she wouldn't have manipulated you to do that, would you have not killed him, knowing that he killed your father? No matter what, he still killed your father.
Right. Some of the big things that happened to get to that is Saxe also sent a letter to 2-Bit. Mm-hmm. 2-Bit makes his return after he told Tariq he'd be back 2 seasons ago. He makes his return, still asking about that money Tariq owes him.
Yeah.
And Tariq's looking like, how did you know where to find me? He said, I got a letter from Saxe. And he's basically telling Tariq he better give him 100 bands if he doesn't want his mother shot. And Tariq's like, my mom? What does this have to do with my mom? So apparently, if everyone remembers, Saxe said in the voicemail to Tariq, remember, I know where Tasha and Yaz is, and that information goes with me if something happens to me. So 2-Bit's basically letting him know that they know where Tasha and Yaz is, and something will happen to them, and if he doesn't come with this money. Now, of course, the next thing Tariq's going to do is call Tamika Washington, find out where they are, so he can go down there and try to protect them, because he's starting to think now that 2-Bit or whoever is going to do something to his mother. Mm-hmm. So he finds the wood sack. All of this stuff is so unrealistic. Finds the wood sack stuff, goes there like they're in a family bunker house somewhere in Billings, Montana, and he's coming to visit. Comes out there, and then who pops up at the house? We see 2 people from Old Power U. From OG Power. Tasha St. Patrick and Tommy Egan. Tommy Egan has returned to kill Tasha, to make good on the promise he said about owing Tasha a bullet.
Right. So he goes in there, basically kills the people. Tommy. I thought I didn't expect to see Tommy. It was a nice surprise to see some of the OG Power people So I mean that part about it, the whole idea of it, like 2-bit, even seeing 2-bit is like okay, it makes sense. Now they finally what the writers tried to do, I think, is finally try to tie up some of these loose ends that were left from previous seasons of this show, because 2-bit just disappeared out of nowhere, and that was all tied to the former showrunner, to be honest with you. So what they're trying to do now
Right.
is reconcile everything. Now that Courtney Kemp really has nothing to do with the show anymore creatively, she's kind of stepped away from that. She still gets credit as the creator because she is. She's still, but she's not the showrunner anymore. So they're trying to reconcile some of the loose ends that Courtney Kemp created and left hanging in the balance. So they bring, 2-bit pops back up. Tommy pops up to try to make good. I mean, it's cool. Yeah, seeing him, I was like, oh wow. Yeah, I wasn't overly excited, but I wasn't. I was like, oh, that's cool. So then he goes
And
in and basically does what Tommy does, kills pretty much everybody
kills
outside.
everybody in the house that's guarding, and then also does what Tommy doesn't kill Tasha. He's
Doesn't kill
always
Tasha.
been killed
He's
everybody
got a
else.
soft spot for
Doesn't kill
Tasha. He does.
Tasha.
He
There's
definitely has a
something that
soft spot for her. It's
yeah,
something about it almost seems like Tommy feels like, not to try to dig, but try to dig in Tommy's mind. Like Tommy still feels like, damn, like I'm losing all my people. Because, remember, he lost that girl in Force. That was someone that he, from like he didn't know nobody in Chicago. Then that one girl that was out there, Liliana, whatever. And, he got close with her. She gets killed. So it's like that type of stuff is kind of weighing on him. People don't, if you don't watch Force, you may not know what he's talking about. But hopefully you watch Force if you, watch all of the Power universe. And that's where he's like, I feel like I'm losing all my people, and that's what Tasha is, basically talks him out of killing her, saying, we've all lost too many people, whatever, and I'm still down for you. And he's like, you killed Keisha. She's like, yeah, she explains to him, I didn't want to kill my best friend. She was gonna rat out my son and rat out you. She's like, I saved your life again.
Tommy still doesn't really remember, still don't really believe that. And the
Right.
thing that was a little underwhelming for me is we sat there for weeks wondering what woman he was saying, "I love you, but I'll put a bullet in you," and he's talking to Tommy. Now, the reason why that's didn't move me is because you're gonna say that to Tommy. Tommy is, and remember, we brought them up. We were like, nah, he would never talk like that to Tommy. That's why we didn't think it was Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They said,
But
I
he
love
says,
you,
I
but I'll
love
put
you,
a
but I'll
bullet
put a
in you
bullet in you.
to
Protect
stop you
my
from killing my
my
mother.
yeah, stop you from killing my mother. So okay, that's fine. So what happens is after Tommy had already took out most of those people, Tommy's so stupid. When Tasha was like, "You gonna shoot me in front of Yaz and my mother right outside?" He's like, "Don't worry, I got a silencer. They won't
Right,
hear
I got a
anything,
silencer. They don't hear
and they're
anything.
gonna know that she's dead." But then so Tommy's an idiot. So, but after that, okay, I put a bullet in you. Then one of those guys makes a last ditch effort to come in. He's already shot up. He comes in busting one of the cops or whatever that was Gardner. Comes in
Now,
busting.
who shot him? Tommy or
Tommy
Tasha?
shot him. No, Tommy shot all the people. And
Okay.
then the guy comes in. I guess he didn't kill him. So he comes in shooting at Tommy. So Tommy has to now turn his gun on him to
So that's
finish
when
him
Tariq
off.
got the drop on
And
Tommy.
that's when Tariq had to drop on him. And Tasha, quick thinking, knocks Tariq out. And then when Tommy turns the gun back to her, he's basically questioning like, he had to drop on me. Y'all had to drop on me. Why didn't you let him kill me or whatever? And she's saying like, I don't want you to die, Tommy. I don't want to kill you. Blah blah blah. And this that. So she kind of like, you know, that soft spot that Tommy has for the St. Patrick's, for Ghost, for Tasha, and for Tariq to a degree. He's still kind of mad at Tariq for killing Ghost, but
Right.
you know, but he
The
really
only
has
reason why he had not killed Tariq is because Ghost said not to.
because
That is
Ghost not to,
the
right?
only
And
reason.
that's the only reason. So, but Tasha, they knew each other since they was young. Like that takes him back. That's the one. So he always has a soft spot for her, just like he always has a soft spot for Ghost. So, that's where they kind of hashed it out, and that was that. So then, when Tariq comes to, Tasha is gone. He's
He's
thinking,
in the hospital.
yeah, right. He's thinking that Tommy, because the way it played out, the way I was watching, I don't know, the leak that I watched, it had it where Tommy had came up to him and then they kind of flashed back to what happened. That's the way I saw it.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
like
right.
what I mean. I actually saw the entire episode. So how it
Yeah.
happened for me was he said, "Put a bullet in you, what have you." Next thing you know, you hear somebody go "whap," and then Tariq wakes up. He's in the hospital, oxygen in his nose, and Braden's there, and he's like, "What's going on?" No.
Oh, and that's
Tamika
how the
is there. Tamika's there,
yeah.
and
Tamika said
Tamika's
she said
asking
Tasha
him,
was missing, right?
"You're right. Tasha's
And
missing.
that's how the
That's
episode
okay.
pretty much
It's all
ends,
right."
right?
Right. And he
That's
says, "You
how
know who may have
that's how
took your
that
mother?"
episode ends. Yeah. So in episode 10 is where it picks up, and that's where they show more of a flashback of what actually happened
Right.
after
What
the fact,
happened?
right? And
And
Todd,
he's
so
talking to Braden. Braden is there, and Braden basically telling him, this, that, and the third. And Braden is now thinking about, maybe after all this time, you think
yeah,
now Braden wants to say, "This ain't for me. I don't think this is for me." Of all the nerve,
right.
people
I
telling
mean,
him,
I've been
everyone
telling
told
him
him,
all
"This
this
ain't
time.
for you."
This ain't
But
for
now,
you. You
since
ain't with
since
that. Even
everything is destroyed,
everybody from Kane said it. This ain't for you, and that's why he was trying
right?
to make him kill somebody all this time. Um, yeah, and then Tariq goes to see Tommy's mother, and that's when he finds out, or at least he thinks, that Monet sent Tommy after his mother, because that, like we said just a few, from the last episode, Drew and Diana hatched a plan. So Diana
Right.
went there with red hair. She had like a red wig on, and
Mm-hmm.
she said her name. She said, "Will you tell Tommy that this is a gift from Monet or whatever?" Because
Right.
Tommy's mother was like, "Oh, Monique or something like that." Like she couldn't remember her name, but she said she like
Mm-hmm.
described her. She's like, oh, she had black girl, she had red hair, whatever. So that's how he knew. Oh, Monet basically came here and sent and put Tommy on my mother. So now that they did that, because there's flashbacks in this episode as well, that they orchestrated that because they needed to give motive to Tariq.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to give him motive to kill, because remember, Drew says you have to convince him to kill, to come kill Monet. And she's like, how am I supposed to convince him? He's not going to do that. He don't want to take no more heat on himself. He said, we got to motivate him. And she said, well, I can use Sax's letter. And that's what she did. And that's what she went and gave. The Sax letter was never supposed to go to Tommy. So she
Right.
took Sax's letter, gave it to Tommy so he'd know where Tasha was. So that plan between Drew and what's her face and Diana, they were never. Kane was never supposed to know, and he still doesn't know. They kept it from him because they know, like you said, Kane is kind of like on Monet's side. So,
Yep.
but they want her dead. So both of them want her dead. So they're like, okay, let's do it. So she went to Tariq and manipulated him, saying whatever, and he's like, okay, now
Tariq,
he's
after all this time, I don't understand how Tariq is still falling for these women and their
mhm,
sweet talk. He should know
mhm,
that he can't trust none of them.
yeah,
It's with the exception of Lauren,
right,
because obviously Lauren and I want to send out a ha 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 to all these people we saw up in these
yeah,
comments and up on these YouTube channels saying Lauren's gotta go. Lauren's gotta go. She wore a wire. She did. And
Lauren's the one who didn't
is
need
the
to go.
only one who was looking out for Tariq.
You know, at this point, I'm thinking, you know, Tariq can't trust none of these people, and it's a shame. But yeah, so after that gives him more motivation. So when old girl comes to him and you know, like I said, after that scene is when he ran into Tommy, and that's when Tommy told him what actually happened up until the point where him and Tasha parted ways. Because at this point, you don't know what happened to Tasha. They show the whole thing of Tasha and him, their little conversation, all that stuff. So, but at this point, when Diana comes to Tariq, you know, to set up, run their plan. You know, because at first she was reluctant to do it, but Drew talked her into it. He's like, we fighting for our lives here. We got to do this. Tariq has to go. Tariq has to be the one that because you know Kane is gonna kill Tariq once he kills Monet.
And just think about all of the times that Tariq saved the Tejadas. All the time, whenever Monet needed something, the first person she called was Tariq. Tariq's the one who let her know that Lorenzo did not, that the G or whatever they called did not kill. Tariq has done a lot for the Tejadas. Remember, he saved Diana's life back in season 1, and this is how they say, Tariq has to go. So everything is to save their own tail. Also, people probably wondering, well, what happened to Braden? Braden did kill his Tariq. Pretty much convinced him the only way they can get out from under the Western Holding Ponzi scheme is to kill the uncle. I don't know how that's going to get them out of it.
I don't know how that doesn't really get them out of it. Well, because the uncle just basically, once again, is a loose end that has leverage over them for selling drugs. He's gonna turn them in. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when Braden goes there and tries to talk his uncle into doing something else, you know, leaving the country and this, that, and the other, and talking this and doing that,
talking pompous to him, and
right. He told Pablo, "Oh yeah, what if I get bored?" And also, you know, there's all types of nonsense. So finally, Braden boils over and just pushes this dude over the edge.
Yeah, and I think they suicide note made for him or something.
He already had the suicide note set up. They suicided him. There you have it. So then, because obviously the Ponzi scheme came down, I think Tate had something to do with that.
Tate is the one who called the SEC. And so I messed up RSJ's money.
Yeah.
And now Tariq's trust fund that he's been working so hard for is now gone.
Gone. Yeah. So now the entire reason why this show even existed, for him to be going through this, trying to get to college so he can get his trust fund, doesn't even matter now.
Nope.
So now, that tells me two things. Number one, I believe next season will be the last season, and number two, all bets are off now. Now it's just survival of the fittest. Now he's just gonna want to survive. Right. But that's what that is for next season. So skipping along, so we don't drag it out. So basically the Tejadas go in and jack Braden's whole family because they owe him money.
Yeah, it would take TV. I mean, I'm sitting here listening, like, I know they're trying to make this like a funny scene. Oh, yeah, Ma, check this out. Oh, yo, yeah, get that. Because they go in there and say,
this got your name on it. They had, there's a famous painting, the Monet. And he's like, look, this one has your name on it. And they laugh.
Yeah, get that. That'll look good in my living room.
They did look good in the living room, something like that. When they really gonna be, they took what's his face watch. Oh, that's a family heirloom. Yeah, I'll make sure I'll tell the pawn shop guy that. So they're basically looting them because they know that they don't have no money because the Ponzi scheme. They're like, okay, well, you got a lot of stuff in this house that looks expensive. We'll be able to, compensate for that, and we'll be back. And all they're talking about, they'll be back and everything else. So
now Effie is still sitting up in the jail. She won't switch. She's not going to snitch on Tariq. But then Davis goes to see. I really don't know what that was supposed to accomplish. I guess Tariq just sent Davis down there to talk to Effie, but he's not taking her on as a client. Tariq has some sort of plan to get Effie out. So what he is he's going to make Lauren recant her story. His plan to get Effie out is to get Lauren to recant her story, and then Tariq is even willing to bring Braden and Kane there and threaten Lauren, right? Wasn't that
that was original plan.
Yeah.
She has to feel
threaten Lauren with the parent.
Right. She has to feel, that she has no choice or whatever the case may be, feel threatened if they're, around or whatever the case may be. So but he was thinking like just, go and take some pictures of them somewhere. Find out where they are, take pictures of them. But of course, Kane goes over the top, and they literally go there and hold her family hostage at gunpoint.
And he basically tells Lauren that my word is bond. My word is bond. As long as you don't say nothing, we'll release your parents. You can go back to your old corny life, and I won't ever say anything to you, and nothing will ever happen. Lauren. Tariq says, release her family so she can trust us. She'll know that she can trust us. And then they release the family. It's just so easy to kidnap people and take people.
Yeah, and release the family. And she basically agrees to do it. But she has her own, not her own agenda, but she wants to, before she already decided she was going to do this from there, but she still had yet to face Effie, and she wanted to. That's why she goes to Jenny Sullivan, and basically tries to make her say, oh, I can get her to flip on Tariq, and then to help your case. And she's like, how can you do that? I'll tell her that.
But she really just wanted to go there to gloat.
Right. She just wanted to go there to gloat. She's like, I'll just tell her that, Tariq wants to be with me. And she's like, well, have you contacted him? She's like, no, but she doesn't know that. Yeah, okay, so she sets it up so she can go visit Effie and basically want to look her in her face and gloat a little bit. And she knows eventually she's going to be out, but she's, like she said, that's what happens. Effie was really unfazed by Lauren being there. Lauren's a sucker. Lauren's a
I don't give a F about you.
But Lauren's such a punk, so she just like, I don't give a F about
Lauren
you.
got some sort of satisfaction out of it. Basically told her, I'm not the same Lauren that you knew from before.
Yeah.
And you seem to think that you have all the power, but
I have the power,
But when Lauren left, I think Effie started to feel like, you know what?
I'm jerk.
Man, I made it a little nicer because it sounds like I'm jerk. No, she's not gonna recant the story. But she actually obviously gets up there.
So she let her stew in there.
Yeah, right. She
basically walked out and let her stewing in that, making her think you're jerk. And so then she does recant her story. Obviously, makes a fool of Jenny Sullivan yet again.
Again, Bianca. They're like, we're gonna have to cut this in this. Junior Valdez is like, nah, it's not gonna work. Oh, we still have this. We still have that. They're like, no, we don't got that. We don't got that.
We don't have nothing. And that's when the boss just said, I'm pulling the plug before you embarrass this department any further. So let's pull the plug, and that's what it is. Boom, Rico gone. So there they go.
Also, Davis McLean went to Tate and had him do something too. Everybody has control over something.
Everybody had control over something. He did something. Yeah. So here's the deal. Once again,
Tariq the hottest thing thrown out.
Yeah. Tariq basically orchestrated everyone's freedom.
Yeah.
He orchestrated by getting her to recant her story. Getting her to recant her story that's Lauren when I say her, to recant her story, gets Effie out of jail, takes the pressure off of Kane and whoever else and Braden. And then you got then he pulled the strings on the other end with Davis to get Diana off the hook.
Diana's charged.
So now everybody is scot free. So then when Diana comes to him and he's thinking he could trust her. When she comes to him, that try to have him shoot Monet with the plan that her and Drew hatched together.
And he
He
goes
takes
to
the
do it,
bait.
put the
He
silencer
goes
on.
right.
Gonna do
He
it.
puts the silence on, puts the mask on, and then the plan is a little bit. And the funny thing is, Monet for the first time kind of spills her guts to Diana, saying,
Right.
this is the only way I know how to show my love to you guys. We raised you tough. We kind of treated you like soldiers. She's like, but that was Lorenzo's thing. That was his idea to raise y'all like this. I never wanted this. And she's like, this is the only way I know. And I love you and this, that, and the other. And I think it looks like Diana was going to try to back out of it because they were supposed to be in the car and she talking about, let's go back in the house. But before she said, let's go back in the house, here comes Tasha pulling up, puts a Uzi weighs a ton, puts a Uzi out the window, shoots up. Because see, remember, Tariq was just supposed to shoot Monet.
Right.
Like Tasha was busting off whoever, like,
whoever's in the car gonna catch it.
Yeah, whoever's in the car just gonna catch it. And then she pulls off and Tariq notices her and he's like, what the hell? So they never saw Tariq. Kane came out shooting at the car that Tasha was in. They never saw Tariq. So at that point, he doesn't know what's going on. And then even though Monet is in the hospital in critical condition, they're all there. He's saying, did you see who did it? And they just continue with their plan. It was Tariq.
It was Tariq.
And he's like, what? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill this dude. I'm gonna go kill him. And then Drew's like, yeah, Tariq's gotta go, Kane. Go kill him. So Kane leaves to go kill him.
It wasn't Tariq. Everyone that wasn't Tariq at all.
Yeah. And she knew that. That's what she said. She says that to him. She says to Drew, that wasn't Tariq. And she's like, I don't know. And he's just like, well, let's just stick to the plan. Tariq did it.
We were gonna blame Tariq, so let's just blame Tariq.
Yeah. So there you go. So from that point on, now the heat is on him with that. So fast forward,
he picks up Effie. She's like, "Oh, I don't know how you.
Effie
how you keep doing it. I don't know. Basically, I don't know how you keep pulling these miracles off. But you do. He gets Effie out.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it.
He asking him, "What about them?" She was willing right there. But Kane thinking he got done whipped her out. She's willing right there. What about us? What about? But now I don't know whether she was serious about that or whether she was just trying to, coax him.
And that might have been her last ditch effort to see if he wants to be, because she still saw about, she act like she don't care about it, but she's still kind of upset, Tariq, because she said all that stuff he said in
the last
Italy
piece
meant nothing.
Right. Yeah, of course. She said Italy meant nothing. She still loves Tariq. And then his last ditch effort from her, since she's out, was for her to give him Noma's picture of her daughter and information of her. So then that can be the last final piece to get him out from under Noma, is to threaten her with a picture and name of her daughter.
Which to me is, again, is not that great of a plan in the first place.
Right.
Because
what if she cares nothing about her daughter? Like, so.
Yeah. So what? That's just like, I don't know her. I don't no, I mean, so just like, so, all right, fine. She gives him the last piece of the puzzle, whatever. Then he goes there, and that's when they're at the warehouse. And Noma's basically, once again, saying something to him. Then here comes Kane, and he talking about something, yo, you thought you was going to get away with it? And he's like, what are you talking about? Oh, you tried to kill my mother. And then he just, they all start walking in. Here comes the whole Tejadas. He's like, yo, I didn't have nothing to do with that. I did not do that. And he's like, D, tell him what really happened. And she's like, yeah, he almost killed me too. So and they just all turned on him. So you have Diana, Kane, Drew.
The ultimate slap in the face.
Effie comes walking in after, because he tries to pull that card. I got eyes on your daughter. I got people on her. If something happens to me or my family, they're going after her. And Noma's like, yeah, that's cool. You always have a good plan, but not this time. And then Effie comes out and basically says, I'm working with her now. She's got I got a future with her and all this other stuff. And everyone is basically Tariq is just there, and it's gonna be a turkey shoot. Basically, he can't he can't believe, I mean, what's his face is like, man, I've been waiting for this forever. Kane's getting ready to kill him. Lights go out. Braden comes in shooting. It looks like he hit Kane. He definitely hit Kane at least once.
Definitely a Kane. Yeah,
And he
so the
came in
lights go
busting.
out and someone comes in busting, and it's Braden. Braden gets
yeah.
Tariq out of there shooting.
Yeah.
And he's
Throws
like,
Tariq a gun.
I think I got one of them down, and then
they shoot their way out basically, because at that point everybody's shooting at each other, or shooting at them. You see Effie with malice in her face shooting at Braden
wow.
and Tariq. I'm like, wow, boy, that ain't nothing but a woman scoring there. And she's shooting at him. Everybody's shooting at each other, and then he get out. He said, I think I hit one of those effers, and they get in the car and speed off. And basically, like, yo, what the hell, man? I thought you was out. He's I ain't gonna leave you hanging. He said, turns out that Obi, the one that we hate, one of the ones we hated the most.
Much.
Turns out
actually
that Obi
came
was the
through
one
for
Tariq.
Tariq.
For Tariq, because Tariq helped his family out with the green cards or whatever. Plus, Noma, I actually hit him up earlier with, put a not buck 50 his face or something she did. And, we think actually Obi's probably going to switch. But so anyway, that's the end of the episode. They speed off. He said, I think we just started a effing war. And then they speed off, and that is the end of the episode. Real quick, going forward now for season 4. Season 4 now, all bets are off. It's just going to be survival, and it's going to be a little bit of survival, a little bit of revenge. All of that's going to be in there. Lauren, as we know at the end of this episode, was leaving with her parents finally.
Right. She basically told Tariq, I never want to talk to you again. Everything they said about you was true. Wasn't it?
So like, he texted her a thank you on the burner phone. She threw the burner phone in the garbage, didn't even answer him. And that was that. Her and her family walked out of their home, assuming that they're being smart and leaving town.
Right.
Period. Moving. Not just leaving town for a few minutes. Moving out of town. There's no other reason because now there's no reason for it's really no reason. Like, Paige Hurd, shout out to Paige Hurd. I think she did good as Lauren. She had that emotion.
She came in her face. Her Lauren return was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. She just really, because Lauren was always that naive, always manipulated, and it's just she finally got fed up with that, and that's why she knew that she had to help Tariq. Because just like he was saying, if you go to Woodsack, you're gonna be living in bumblefuck Arizona, working as some cashier with a different name. That's all that they have to offer you. Like, you want back your regular life, just do this, and that's what it was. And she heard it. I think it was, even though it was kind of reckless to bring Kane there, but she had to hear it from Kane. I think that helped her a little more, actually, to hear it from him saying, listen, I don't care. I don't listen to these dudes. I listen to myself. And the bottom line is, my word is bond. If I tell you, just recant your statement, forget you ever knew me. That's it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. So now her leaving town. So next season, real quick, I think, it's all bets are off, like we said. And now Tariq, he doesn't, we don't know if they're going to get out of town or whatever. We have speculations that they might continue to cross over by having them go meet up with Tommy, because it ends with them just driving away, speeding off. So it's very possible that Force may have a couple of episodes with them in it, maybe, if they try to go and convince Tommy to help them. Or, like you said, there was early footage of them supposedly going to Los Angeles. So my final thoughts, and you can give yours right after. I believe from what I saw, I watched the podcast. The Crew Has It, which is with Michael Rainey and Gianni, base AKA Braden and Tariq, and they basically saying that season 4 is lit. It's lit the f up.
Wow.
So season 4 is going to be a ball of action from what they're saying. So it's going to be all out war. I'm just wondering where they're going to get their muscle from. I believe Obi is going to switch sides and start helping them. But where else are they going to get their muscle from? Unless my bold prediction is they convince Tommy to back them and then come back, and war with the Tejadas, basically. And that's pretty much where I'm going with it. What is your take on it?
Yeah, my final take on it, I think that Reek and Braden, I think Braden's going to be a totally different cat now. And I think they're going to go. I believe they're going to link up in Chicago, and I believe now that they need a new plug. He doesn't have any trust fund money anymore, so now that's going to be another reason why he has to continue moving weight. And I think that he is. I think the Ultimate in season 4. I also believe it's the last season. I think that at the end, when it's all said and done, I believe he's going to end up with Lauren. I think they're going to bring Lauren back at the end of next season, which will be the last season. And I think he's going to end up with Lauren at the end of the day. He's going to get out of the game finally. And I believe he'll end up with Lauren when it's all said and done. I don't know whether Braden will last. Something just gives me Braden getting killed, and Tariq being the only one left. He's out of the game. He's back with his parents, and then ends up with Lauren. But I do also believe that season 4 is going to be the Tejadas. He's going to take out Tejadas out, and I believe Tommy will help him.
Yeah. So there you have it. I think we'll see. And shout out to the entire cast of Ghost Power Book 2. They did a phenomenal job this season. Shout out to the writers and the directors of this season. They did a great job of, in my opinion, pulling this show up to being one of the best shows. I still lean on the side of Raising Kanan, but they pretty much made brought the show back up, and then they did a good job for that. So we'll see. I feel sorry a little bit for the cast that, the show got leaked. Yeah. And, I feel bad for them because Woody, he's not too happy about it. He expressed that, so I hope that, unfortunately for that happened, but you guys did a great job. You should be proud of everything you've done. All of the actors did a really good job in this season and made it very interesting this season. So that's all I want to say. Hats off to the cast and crew, the writers of Power Book 2
Totally
Ghosts.
agree.
So, well, and then catch us next week. Catch us next time, where like I said, check out our new show, which is called The Original Plan. So we got some more episodes coming from that, and now you'll understand even more what we've been saying about how the original plan for characters change as they go along. So check that out, and we will make sure that we get back to you with more stuff in the next show. Now, unfortunately, Raising Kanan may not go for a while because of the writer's strike, but Force, I believe, is already in the can. So we will get Force when it's supposed to come out. It's probably going to be coming in a few weeks.
Yep, should be. I can't wait.
All right. Well, it's your boy Wes and Hev. This is the breakdown. We are the Clark Brothers, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.